Hello, my name is Ice Warrior, and this is the last part of a three-part series on how to play better at Heroes and Journals. So, let's go straight up. Part 3, Ground Attack, Lightning versus the ground, or in this case mostly tanks. We straight up start here with engaging Panzer IV as we ended here. We killed actually the commander on the strafing run and then wipe him out with the bomb. So big thing with lightning to remember is that it almost every time will drop the left bomb and then the right bomb. There is some glitches that might end up doing the opposite way, but it happens very rarely. Almost every time it will be the left and then right. So what we do here, we are gonna try to search for some enemies. We know that there is tanks being spotted for multiple times. And so we keep rolling and we see the Hetzer. You see how the camera keeps following it. We try to remember where he is. The trick I do usually is that I keep the free cam locked at him and then switch to the nose cam so I don't have to start search him again. So you can easily lose the target during a turn if you don't keep an eye on him. So we do the first strafe. The Hetzer basically panics and starts to run. There is no need to use actually bombs here at all, because the APCR against Hetzer is actually kinda ridiculously good. Hetzer's sloped armor is usually pretty flat when you come those strafing runs, as the angle for optimal strafing run is about the same. Thing with the Hetzer, of course, is that it has very little health, and the APCR just chews through that thing. And there you go, another, again killed the commander. This is a little lucky there, but it doesn't really matter, he would have been dead anyway. There you go, straight from above, we got the good hits on the commander's hatch, and he went down fast. We would have probably just, maybe the bomb was a little over the top, we could have strafed it, gone over and strafed it again. Big thing, of course, sorry for the ground crew, but this is mostly focusing on how to become a better pilot. I would otherwise give you awesome tips to how to avoid the lightnings and yaks and BF-109s. Of course, you're a little lucky if there is actually a BF-109 on you, because it's much worse at killing tanks, whereas the lightning, I would give it the third tier, whereas the lightning, yak would be the second one. So as you saw, there was 2 tanks on the train station there, and I'm trying to kind of figure out what I do, because I just spent all my APCR. Because I knew I was reloading really soon here, so I just need to expand all the APCR quickly as possible. As you might have seen, the Panzer IV just turned left on the main road there to go in the forest towards the Echo 3, and from there, of course, to the secondary of the train station. So we still see a glimpse of him in there. He goes behind the tree, as you might have seen. And then we are gonna go for the Hetzer, as you can see behind the archway there, or the little bridge there. So what we did, again, APCR a little bit, and then we dropped the bomb. I didn't choose to go for the full APCR kill, which is usually optimal for Hetzer. Against Hetzer, there's no reason to actually spend bombs on. Hetzer gets killed pretty easily. So what we do here, we go up instead of around, simply because we get a little bit higher angle here, because this Panzer IV is actually pretty good hiding here. So he goes on the road, which is of course a big mistake. You have to stay within the woods to be safe. Maybe he was just expecting that the Hetzer would sell his life so he can go for a better price. So he fixes his mistake and goes for the forest, but now it's a little bit too late. I know exactly where he is. I get 1 extra bomb and plenty of APCR. So 2 strafing runs and a bomb, instantly killed. So as you saw, he didn't even burn, he just died. There you go. I'm getting shot by the AA gun, which is really annoying here, but it's fine. And you can still see it firing. This is a little annoying part of the AA guns, because they have insanely good view range when they're zoomed in, and they can shoot you for a very long time. You just have to... only way to dodge those AA guns is just to hit the deck, avoid the detection, go behind trees and stuff like that, or just have somebody else taking the fire for him. There you go, there was a power plane going down. So what do we do next? I'm trying to search for a map for a landing place and trying to show you a couple of places. So we're gonna land here on C1 again. Familiar place already. We're gonna show the Alpha 1 and the Bravo 1 landing also. I don't dodge D1 or Echo 1 simply because it's a little dangerous as the enemy spawn there. There you go, landed, everything repaired. We're gonna go repair now the plane also. There you go. Of course, the thing is that when you're half health, it's a little risky to fly in the enemy air presence, simply because if you do a mistake and you don't kill it on the first run, you might be very low health at that point. Against Russians, if you're flying against Russians, then I specifically recommend you leaving after losing about 1/4 of your health. This is simply because those Russians, or Soviets of course, do have those PTRD anti-tank rifles, which are excellent against planes. You mod them up and it's about 3/4 of health per shot if you hit them. Of course, the hitting is the hard part, but if you do, it does an insane amount of damage. This is of course not as often seen on the stage battlefront, so you usually do end up seeing those PTRDs without mods, which is about 3-shot kill, so that would take around 1/3 of your health. So even then, if you're 1/3 before red markings, you should always be leaving. Or against, in general, you should be already gone from the battlefield when you are at red health, because those PTRDs, they don't have their penetration doesn't drop on range. So they do get easy pens on you, and they have enough penetration even to penetrate you at very steep angles. So that's always a little risky business. So what we're gonna do here, there's gonna be the AA firing at us. We don't wanna go front to front, so we're gonna actually dodge on the side and hope he's actually gonna start shooting the other guys instead of us, and we're trying to kill him here. Since it's not an US AA gun, which is very, very protected, the only way to kill the US gunner is to either get a very lucky shot on the guy or kill the gun, whereas the flak gun is way less protected, same as with the Soviet one is actually so poorly protected that you can usually just kill him with the AP and not waste the APCR. But in the German case, you usually do have to go with the APCR too, to just add a little bit of the volume of firepower to get the lucky hit there. So I'm just punching. There you go, Kel. So what I was doing, I was touching with the A and D to keep that rudder going back and forth and trying to get that hit there. So the actual aiming is the hard part there. So I have no idea, I have no reason why he shot here. There was probably something on. So I saw the paraplane passing me on the left, sorry, on the right, so I'm gonna turn around and go kill him. Another big thing, of course, with the AA guns is that don't go face to face. They usually try to aim for the cockpit, which is usually ends up in a one-hit kill, or if you're lucky, might take just the health off from you, which is always a problematic situation, because if you lose health, it's really hard to gain it back. You have to land somewhere where there's health packs, and that always is very risky because they don't usually are on the first points of the map. There you go, you actually saw me bombing the AA gun there, and it got destroyed, but the guy actually survived the bomb and actually got away. Here you see the flak cannon hitting me. Already in red health, so I do have to get on for landing here. So we get those reloads back up. So we are gonna test the Bravo here. Gonna go for a Bravo landing. Here we go. You could always already touch down here, about here. So the big thing with the maps are that when the maps end, the game is created so that infantry has a zone where they can be, and the vehicle zone is a little bit bigger. Sorry, vice versa. So vehicles stop a little bit sooner than infantry can reach. So and then for planes, it's non-existent. So basically for planes, you can back until the map runs out, but then you just drop basically on this God zone, whatever you want to call it, and then you instantly die. You might notice it if you fly around the map. Outside of the map, there's a very bare area. And the area is interesting because if you touch it, you instantly die, and the second part is that your landing gear doesn't even come out when you fly slowly. So that's a little indicator that you might be in the area. For example, on the forward airfield map, if you take off from the actual airfield, you see the airfield actually lasts for a very long time, and the map ends maybe like 10 meters after the actual airstrip ends. So that's actually a good point for you guys if you ever try it out. So do take off when the strip ends. The tanks usually get stopped a little bit after the landing strip. And then planes, of course, don't have that prohibition of stopping, so they will just crash instantly when they touch that forbidden zone there. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna go for a bombing run. I'm gonna bomb both of these AA guns. I don't even know if there's enemies, but I'm just gonna bomb it safely. You can see the O2 side there explodes just now. So I got both of them down, so I have some time here to wait and search for the enemies. It seems that the AA gun actually there spawned instantly back, as it was the wrong one, so it instantly spawned back. So that's unfortunate, of course, because that's almost 2 minutes now. I have to wait for the new bomb load. I have the gold bombs away set, so I do reload much faster. But still, if there would be a gunner there, it would be a big problem for me. Okay, there is another thing. There's like a tracer round, big tracer round. That was a shot from the Panzer IV main cannon there, and then he was trying to strafe me a little bit with the machine gun there, coaxial. Well, that didn't go too well. He didn't hit me a single time, and now I do get those very high angle steep dives here. I'm not gonna even bother with bombs, not that I have any. I'm 88% loaded, so I'm just gonna go a little bit further away and turn. He went for the bridge. He doesn't really have any hope here. If I wouldn't have any bombs, then he could maybe dash into cover, but I do have everything loaded up, so I'm just gonna keep shooting him, and he's dead. So as you notice, you can come in a pretty weird angles. If you come from behind the tank, you can shoot it in pretty hard angle, because the Panzer IV rear armor, just like with many tanks, is very poor. The actual exception here is the Tiger II. As you might have seen with the Tiger II, the rear armor is sloped a little bit differently. Usually the angle is away from the air, so if you come from high angle, you hit the flat surface there. But whereas in Tiger it's sloped the opposite way, so the flat armor is towards the ground, which is a very interesting concept on that. And if you try to strafe the rear of the Tiger, you usually do get that impact angle too high, as although the rear armor is very thick also, but you get that very high angle of attack, and that makes it almost impossible. So maybe for a tip for you guys who fly the APCR, do try to come straight from above against the heavy tanks. So you hit the engine deck. That's the place you want to aim. Don't hit the turret. The turret has some weird things always going on, as there is the cupola, which is not flat surface, it's a little round, so it's of course a little harder to hit those things. So you want to hit that flat engine deck there, which is the thinnest part of the armor of the tank. And there's another tank here. I don't actually see what it is. It looks like a Panzer IV. But we're gonna go kill that guy. And this is gonna be a little bit different kill, as I do miss the bomb here. I'm just gonna go with the APCR again. Bim, 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 bim. And as you might have seen, I actually do shoot the AP also. So the MG does go also on the target. This is just to add the volume of fire. Most of the rounds will not penetrate actually. AP does penetrate. The basic MG ammo will penetrate if you hit the engine deck normally, so you come straight from above. This is of course not the case for the heavy tanks. So what I do here is a little risky maneuver. I go very low, so I do hit the guy. He's below the trees, so it's a little hard to shoot from the high angle. So instead I go low, and I see his flank there, and engage him very easily there, getting him. So what I will do here, oh god, there's another teammate shot down by the Flak 38 there, but we will go see if we can kill him off. So let's go a little bit closer. Shoot, shoot, shoot. It doesn't seem there was anyone there though this time, neither on that one. We'll see back if they're gonna shoot back, so we know where he is. Okay, there is one. We're just gonna dodge him. There seems to be a teammate nearby, so he's gonna get executed by our teammate here. There you go. And we're gonna fly back there, see if the other A gun is active and what the situation is with that. It's always optimal if you have a teammate watching those AA guns, but they're usually positioned so that they're so far from the combat zone that they usually cannot get there, which is a big problem. Another thing I usually get questioned, how do you spot those enemy tanks? Usually the best trick is to just wait for the tracer fire. You see that there's enemy teammates killed somewhere on the map, so you just go search for that knowledge. So only way for the enemy to kill your teammates is to be somewhere within the effective range of actually your teammates. So there is a lot of good places for tankers to be. Usually better tankers usually tend to stick with the under the trees when they know there is enemy air presence. And another big thing, of course, is to, when you see the tracer, then you get closer and try to figure out where in the zone he is, and then you just wait for the next round to go off. You will see this very big dust cloud taking off on the firing, so that's usually the marker you want to try to find. So another good example how to search for tanks is to intercept them before they even get to the combat area. So in this scenario we would have D1 and O2, and O2 being the train station. The courtyard area is very contrast heavy against the dark German armor. This is a very easy way to, of course, intercept the enemy, and this is what I usually prefer. I have done my job well if the enemy tank is dead before it gets to shoot a single round. And of course generals thank you because they don't lose units and they only kill them. Here we have a situation again where there's two AA guns active, and even you saw the tracer round of the tank there on the main courtyard of the train station there. So I keep dropping bombs, but there is not really much for me to do here right now. We just need the 0-1 to win this match. Most of the tanks are starting to get down. There's not that many spawning anymore. Maybe they gave up a little bit on the fact that they have been shot down pretty drastically. Now actually here's a good part where I show you the B1 landing area. This is a little bit different landing area as the landing strip is very short, so you need to actually hit the ground pretty fast. So I do go for this little bouncy thing. You don't lose any health as long as you hit on the landing gear. Landing gear is a lovely thing. It doesn't matter how hard you hit the ground as long as you do hit on the landing gear. There you go. I'm gonna back up a little bit because I'm not 100% sure where the map ends here. So where the forbidden zone begins. So I'm just gonna back up a little bit and so I can get an easy takeoff there. It seems that our teammates are actually capping 0-1 here, so we have a almost done deal here. So as we mentioned on the first episode, I mentioned that I did get 10 tanks and 14 planes here, so as you might have seen within this video, there was plenty others I could have killed, which I didn't, for various reasons, but it doesn't matter. We got a pretty decent score of 4k, and we got plenty of cash. I think it was around 23,000 credits, and the price of this flight will be around 4k. Actually, the most expensive thing on these flights are the rounds you fire with the APCR. Single plane costs you around 300 plus, and then the APCR is the rest. So I hope this helped you guys a little bit. If you think this is something you like to see more, do comment below or in the forums, links in description. Thank you for watching, see you later.